Let's just jump into this one. We don't need to set it up. This Game of Thrones, Season 8, Episode 3. If you've watched it, that's why you're watching this video. If you haven't, well,
I want to say this is a polarizing episode, but I feel like
it's not.
It's not. I think the majority, there's definitely there's a significant amount of people complaining, but not.
I don't think so.
I've seen a lot.
I'm in the minority.
You're definitely in the minority, but it's not like 5 out of 100 people. I think it's more like a 70-30 split.
I'm genuinely confused, though, at that I'm in the minority. And this is why I feel like people are a fucking bunch of fake pieces of shit, because the same things that those people bitched about for like Last Jedi, and then the same thing happens here, and then all of a sudden they love it.
When I saw your reaction on Twitter, I knew exactly what was going through your head, which is why when you retweeted Rian Johnson, ironically the director of The Last Jedi.
Oh, I know. That's why I retweeted it.
Yeah, I was like, dude, yeah, people got Snoked, because this whole time, like, people thought Snoke was going to be a major part of the story.
I think he still will be.
I mean, it could be.
I don't want to turn this into a Star Wars podcast.
We'll talk about that. But there was enough backlash from the fans that a lot of people think
when JJ comes back, he's gonna retcon.
No, I saw your comment and I'm like, this is TLJ all over again, because same thing happened. And my argument, my point to that is, the Night King's always been in the background. It's never been his story. It was never about him. It was the name of the show is Game of Thrones. You could make the argument that the first book's called A Song of Fire and Ice, but that's also the Starks versus the Targaryens. Well, that doesn't even make any sense, honestly. Like, the books, maybe the Night King was more of a factor, but you could put this square.
Night King's not even in the books.
So the Night King is made for. They mentioned the Night King in the book, so the Night King was made specific.
Not a character in the books.
Huh. So he's never. So that's not George R.R. Martin's.
No,
creation.
I'm saying, like, how we see him, he's not in the book.
Well, there's a lot of things that are different from the book.
Well, no, I mean, like, a visual representation. Mm-hmm. It's all like people talk about it, but
right.
It's not like a. That's not to say that.
What I'm saying is, like, the overall storyline, the Night King, is he really that important to the overall story?
I'm glad that you brought all this up. I'm glad that you're trying to argue against my opinion. If that were my case, you'd be 100% right. Like, if that's what I was mad about, that's not even it.
Are you mad that Arya killed the Night King?
I have no issue with anything that went on in the episode. It was just too quick. It needed to be a 2-part episode. It needed to spill over a little bit more. There needed to be, because at no point during the show.
So this is like a kind of a reverse complaint that I made last week about episode 2, in a way.
Yeah, but this was the action, because you had 2 scenes, you had 2 episodes of build up. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't think the action was that great. I'm sorry. I know I'm in the minority, but that also could be because of the hype job.
It was a bit busy.
At the beginning, the setup, mm-hmm. the build-up was fucking awesome. As dumb as it was that the Dothraki went out there and died, it was still cool. Sound design was great. Like, even the visuals, it being dark. Like, mm-hmm. I've been retweeting things about it because I think it's funny. But the cinematographer was right. He's like, it's not dark because I shot it. I know it wasn't dark.
Right.
And it wasn't dark. Because the movie, like, the reality is, they're in the middle of fucking nowhere in a time before electricity. Were they gonna just put fire posts everywhere? Like, it wouldn't make sense, in my opinion. It also covered up a lot of CGI.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with the darkness. Like, I got a buddy who's a Steadicam operator, and he posted, he said, if you want to watch this correctly, turn off all the lights, close all the windows, so that if you see the reflection of yourself in the...
It's too much light.
You got too much light going on.
I agree.
And that's what I did. I turned off everything and it was fine.
When I waited, because I started the episode, and there was a little bit of glare from my window, I fucking turned it off, and I'm like, all right, we're waiting 45 minutes when the sun goes down, and I did. That's probably why I didn't have an issue. But my problem is, and I know what the argument is in response to this, but Jon, it was too easy. It was too easy. At no point have I ever had this much tension, or like the stakes were never elevated to this point before in the history of the show.
It was definitely a tense episode.
It was like, oh fuck, this is serious. This is the end game for, to make a joke about it. This is it. This is what we've been building for. So this is the moment, and it's happening in the 3rd episode. So I was already expecting that something was going to be off because it's right in the middle of the season. But the fact that it just, you reach a point and I think that point was when Tyrion and Sansa, I thought they were gonna double suicide or murder each other,
Right.
which would have been actually pretty
You
cool.
called the crypt thing.
Oh, the dead shit.
Yeah.
But you know, then when that didn't happen, I was like, oh, okay. And I started thinking like, no one's dying. I think Jorah died right after that, but like, I thought
Nobody
so many
important
people
was
were. I
dying.
thought so many people were dying,
Yeah.
or they were getting bit. Like the way the action was, like
It's not Resident Evil, so you getting bit or Walking Dead, you don't turn into a zombie.
Well, I don't know that. They don't really establish that. You don't really see people get bit by walkers
Right.
and live. I'm just saying that's not really a thing.
Yeah, in that major battle scene, the only important person that died pretty quickly, and it wasn't that important, was the guy, the leader of the Night Watch, the new leader of the Night Watch.
Oh yeah.
Like he died in front of, which was actually Sam's whole thing in that episode really bothered me.
And what's his name died too, the dude with the flame sword. But
he got a good send off.
Oh,
his was an epic death.
I'm just saying that I think that it rushed it at the end,
Mm-hmm.
and it just because it introduced so many fucking cool things.
Right.
Night King surviving Dragonfire, just walking away.
Which,
Like,
I knew it wasn't gonna work.
Jon Snow fucking going in for the second battle and he raises the dead, right? And
that was fucking awesome.
it was cool.
Yeah.
They needed to have a second showdown. I'm sorry. I'm not saying he needed. I'm completely 100% accepting of Arya being being the one who kills him.
Okay.
I have no problems with that. It is set up, throughout the history of the show.
And it was a good misdirect. Like, we were away from her for so long that we did, like, most of us didn't even think about it.
See, I don't think it was an effective misdirect.
No? Well, I meant more...
Where the fuck was she? In a tree?
Right. Who knows where... Dude, she was fighting her way through fucking zombies to get to that...
In the one fucking tree in the middle of nowhere? Like, what?
Well, she came from the back. She came from the...
She came from somewhere. We
Maybe
don't know.
she was sneaking behind the Night King.
As they were all being surrounded by the... Look, I'm not complaining. This is not a complaint about that. I just wish it were fucking... It could have just a little bit longer. Gave me another cliffhanger.
Well,
Give me something.
You also are upset because you're like...
Bran's worthless.
You mentioned on Twitter that you have... Well, we're going to have 3 episodes of Cersei now. Like, you're not happy about that.
I'm not.
But we don't know where that's going. That could also be...
But let's be
And
real.
I said, the last fucking episode of the podcast, I said straight up that this episode right here could be one of those that's going to make or break it. It's either going to turn off a lot of people or everyone's going to be...
let's be realistic here, okay? I'm not a fucking hypocrite. I'll be watching next week and the week after that.
Yeah,
and the
but
week
you're
after
not...
that.
Are you going to be as into it as you were before this episode?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with
You
you.
were just mad for that.
No, and you know why I'm going to be in it? Because people are going to start dying genuinely.
Right.
Someone had already mentioned in the comments or something that there's going to be a red wedding moment in this season. And that has yet to happen.
And
There's going to be another battle, and it has to be episode 5. I'm going to change your mic, so I'm going to keep talking real quick. It's just this. And it has to be episode 5 because the same director who directed this episode directed episode 5. There clearly has to be some sort of battle at sea, something like that. But I think next week is when people will die.
I mean, who did we lose this episode? And really, we didn't lose any major characters. We lost Jorah. We lost Theon.
He was a pretty major character.
He
but
was-
I understand
he
what
was
your
a
point
secondary
is. I get what
character,
you're... I'm not arguing. I'm just saying he was big, though.
He wasn't
in the
a-
history of the show.
He was an offensive lineman. He wasn't a star.
Right.
He wasn't the
That's
quarterback.
it. That's it. The dude of the no ball crew, like I thought he was going to die. He survived.
Yep. I mean, we lost pretty much all the Dothraki. They're gone. They're wiped off the...
Not most. They're all dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I saw a couple
back,
run into the castle. I don't know who survived that, but it made it seem like they got completely decimated. So we lost the Dothraki. We lost most of the Unsullied as well.
We lost all the White Walkers. And
We lost basically that entire army. So how the fuck are they going to go down and challenge challenge Cersei
have
for
dragons.
the throne? Okay, but
And then the first dragon's going to get shot down right in the face by Cersei's...
Bran?
No, it's by Cersei's fucking thing that they try to use before.
oh, but they're going to have the mountain.
But it's going to... No, I mean... Look, I'm annoyed that the endgame is this. I really am.
I could see look,
But-
the aspects, the issues that kind of shitty is for such an important episode. Nobody important died. Somebody important should have died.
But the tension's that high.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like people are going to be
I didn't
safe
like
again.
that they killed little Lyanna Mormont. You know?
I love how she died.
It was cool how she died, but I mean, come on, guys.
Well, because she's a kid?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
You know.
No, that's the whole... Fuck
Yeah.
that. She wasn't even supposed
That was like the brutal death, like the little girl dying. I think that was their...
She didn't even die
was
that
it.
brutally. She just got squished, that's all. She just got squeezed. It was like the most...
She got her tiny little ribs cracked by
Basically.
a zombie giant.
Yeah, that she killed.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you something
Did she
before
really kill him, though? Because he was already dead, so... Just kidding.
Well, did Arya really kill the Night King then?
Well, the Night King, we don't know that the Night King wasn't dead.
And we never will.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Let's talk story before we jump into questions.
I mean,
Okay.
maybe the Night King and the prequels that they're coming out with. That's when we learn about.
Who gives a fuck now?
Hey, man,
I don't give a shit.
you're not gonna watch the prequels.
Absolutely.
Okay, then shut
but
your
I don't.
fucking
But I
mouth.
don't care because I know how it resolves now, and it resolves stupidly.
Yeah, prequels are. I'm always weary of prequels because it, like.
Well, I
A
just
perfect example is like Rogue One. Like it's a great movie, but because we know what happens afterwards, it just it
Solo.
doesn't feel-
Solo's an example of that too. It's a prequel, and I liked it. And I liked how they introduced Darth Maul and all these things, but you'll never get to see any of that shit. Anyway, I'm not gonna go down Star Wars. This is the second or third time we brought up Star Wars. When Saruman dies in Lord of the Rings, you don't even see the motherfucker. He's just an eye. Like only in Return of the King, the extended edition, do they have the manifestation.
Sauron.
Sauron. What did I say? Saruman?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sauron. Because you see Saruman, the wizard. No, I said it right.
No, you said Saruman.
Sauron is the wizard. Saruman is the fucking eye thing.
No, Saruman is the wizard. Sauron
Okay,
is
so
the eye.
inverse then. You see the wizard, obviously. You don't see Sauron because he's just the eye. In the Return of the King extended edition, you see a manifestation of him. Like he's wearing an armor, but it's not really him. It's kind of like just an
a wraith?
avatar. No, it's not a wraith. It's called like it's the something king. I'm totally forgetting the witch king or something. I forget what it is. It's not a wraith though. And Aragorn fights him, and in the books, that's how it happens too.
Yeah.
They cut that out of the theatrical version. So like the fact that the Night King just kind of came and went, and that's it, and the evil's been thwarted. Okay, I accept that. I don't really because of Lord of the Rings, because I know George R. R. Martin is kind of modeling his story after it. He's said that.
Yeah.
So this leads me to two things. That was the setup. The two questions. One, thematically speaking, story-wise, I mean not thematic. Story-wise, this is episode 3 of a 6-episode series. There's going to be an arc within the season. Our good guys won, right? They've thwarted evil. So based on that,
This is a false victory.
well, no, it's a victory.
It's a victory, but it's like over the entire scheme of things.
Two things, two questions.
It's only going to go
Is
down
this the
from
climax of the show?
No, I don't think so.
Battle of Winterfell.
I don't think so.
I do think so.
You think
but
so?
We'll get into that in a second. And then my follow-up question to that is, because for me, well, let's just one at a time. The reason why I think it's the climax of the show is because of the stakes. They will never be risen as high as they were in that episode. I don't think they will ever be higher because the threat, it's just like Lord of the Rings. No matter what those humans were dealing with, no matter what the elves were dealing with, no matter what they were infighting that was, it'll never be as big as the threat that Sauron was casting over them. Just like the
right,
Night's
but
Game.
the counter to that is like all of Middle Earth knew that Sauron was coming back, and they felt threatened by it.
We knew, the audience knew. So
Okay.
But
in the Seven Kingdoms, like
I know
the rest of Westeros, they
but
didn't take it serious.
Know. We are the observers of the story here, not the people in the story. So that's why I'm saying it's the climax.
We also don't have that beginning battle between Sauron, his army, and Middle Earth.
But you could have that in Lord of the Rings. You could have that. That could be with the first long night, the very first long night with Bran the Builder. Like that could be the prequel. But what I'm saying is, after Sauron gets defeated, they destroy the ring, they do all that shit, blah blah blah. You're left, and I brought it up, the sacking of the Shire, the denouement of the story.
Right.
Everything comes down, and you
Japanese soldiers who didn't know that the war was over.
Yes. So I think that's where we're in now. Because I think that the end of the story of Game of Thrones is about, as you said earlier, the Game of Thrones. And to Cersei's point, she doesn't give a fuck about these white... Like, I'm still on the throne. I'm in control. I'm not going to deviate from that at all. I'm not going to relinquish any of that power. So now that everyone from Winterfell, which is basically the North and whoever's left from the other side of the world that came over, right? And Tyrion and Jaime, who faced evil in the front. They've confronted it. They know what to expect. Now they're gonna have to go back to human problems again, and then that's the theme where it's just like you can't escape from the evils of men, which is what the power of the ring is.
Right.
So this leads to my second question. What do you think, if this is their false victory, what do you think the ending is? Because, and assuming negative. Because if it's positive, we have to assume negative.
I think we're going to lose a lot of good guys. And then it's going to be a bittersweet victory at the end. It's like, I just don't see it possible
what are the negatives?
to have Cersei.
Let's talk about negatives, though. It has to be negative. I don't think they win twice.
I think someone important is going to die. I think someone that you don't want to take the throne is going to take the throne.
Like what?
Like, I think Daenerys is losing popularity left and right. Daenerys could still take the throne, or Daenerys is going to die and
so what's
Sansa
the worst
takes the
outcome
throne.
for you? In your
The worst
opinion?
outcome for me is Cersei winning. Cersei winning this whole thing would be the worst outcome for me.
I think it's a possibility. I think
it's one of those things where they're like, "Fuck it, it's the last episode. If you guys are pissed off, who cares? We're not making any more." But then that would.
I don't think it's that way at all. I think you look at it as a story, right? And and
it would have to be justified in a way that it's better for the Seven Kingdoms for Cersei to be queen.
They have to learn. The humanity has to learn something.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like Sam might have to tell this story. Like the fact that he writes this book, assuming he's gonna be the fucking.
I've been thinking about this, and it goes all the way back to season 1, where Robert Baratheon tells Ned Stark to go and kill Dany, and he refuses to do so because she's a child. You know. And
so you think Dany's gonna kill Jon Snow?
I don't know, but I think I might be. This is just pure speculation, but I think that might be a connection right there. That connects it. Like, there's a reason why Robert Baratheon was right. There's a reason why he wanted to take out and kill.
I mean, he was right.
The Targaryens.
You can kill. I mean, if you kill all, it's the Thanos mentality. Thanos is right.
Yeah.
You kill half the population, you're gonna have less resources that are being expended. You kill your competition, you're not gonna have competition. That doesn't save you from being killed yourself in the future, but it's also a real thing.
Right, but basically what I mean is like that the Targaryens are like so far off into this. They're just not good for the
Well, Jon is a Targaryen.
Exactly. Him dying too. Like that, those are all the mistakes that these are all Ned's mistakes. This whole thing is Ned making, this whole storyline could be about all the mistakes that Ned fucking made because of him being a good and just person. Because of his like morale, his moral compass.
That's why I say I think the proper play to predict the next few episodes or the end of the series is to think negatively. And not.
What's your worst? Well, you asked me what's your worst possible outcome.
I think personally, I think Dany takes the throne, but I think.
I mean, there's also like just a circle of life where
I don't know who's
the Targaryens get back into power, and it goes right back to the way it was before the Targaryens.
Oh, I think the ending of the story is. Yes,
and there's a bunch of stuff like why was the Mad King really mad? You know, they talk about it, and this whole thing gets started.
Who's bloodthirsty.
Yeah, this whole thing gets started because the Starks get involved because they killed Ned Stark's dad and his brother. So he was married to Catelyn Stark because his older brother was murdered and his father when they went to go and talk to the king, and that started the whole like Robert's uprising as well.
And who knows? Maybe Bran might serve a purpose.
Like Jon Stark exists because Robert was supposed to marry Lyanna, and he thought she was kidnapped, but really she fell in love with. There's like this.
No, I understand. But, yeah. So if you're asking me what I think is going to happen at the end, and going by my logic.
No, what your worst, like the least, like.
I don't.
What would leave a bad taste in your mouth in the ending, as an ending?
If Cersei wins and kills everybody.
Okay, so we're in agreement to that. Like,
but like
she's done such a great job of being a fucking evil bitch that like.
But I think my ending, like in my mind, will still serve the purpose of that. Like it will still give me that same displeasure. Because what I think the ending will be is I don't think it matters who gets the throne, because there's going to be such chaos that by the end there can be a victory like you think, where Jon Snow does take the throne, or they become king and queen and they get married or whatever the fuck. But what's left of the throne? So who really won?
Right.
Which is why I think Cersei can win, because
She'll still keep the people united.
No. She'll win, she'll destroy, but she'll have none of the people by her side.
Right.
She'll have nothing. She doesn't like.
Which would start another revolution.
It would start whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the point is, it's like you win the game, but at what expense? At what cost? What's left? What kingdom is there to rule over everyone's fucking been destroyed and killed?
The other theory would be that every major family dies and a new family takes over the throne. Like the Starks, no more Starks. There's all the Mormonts. There's no more Mormonts. Not that they were major players, but you're seeing families disappear. The Tarleys. Samuel.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What's left of the kingdom?
But it could be like the
Yeah,
ending
they
could be
ruling
like
the
a
seven
new
kingdoms.
like a new start of new families, like the uprising of a new set of families taking
And that's
over.
too happy.
I don't know if it's a happy thing. I'm just saying, like, how if every single major family that you like were with these past 7, 8 years,
they're all dead.
all
That's my
disappear.
point.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
and I
saying.
was thinking about like when are the Knights of the Eyrie going to get involved again? We haven't seen them since they helped.
Probably now.
Yeah, they're gonna have to
They're
come back.
probably
They're
gonna
gonna
go now.
join the North. And then what about what's left with the Freys? And they're not all dead.
I don't know. They're probably
Or
with
Caitlyn
they're
Stark's
probably with the
family, like the
Lannisters.
river, whatever people.
I think they all went up to the north.
The
though.
Tullys.
I think they've all came to the north.
I don't think they were part of that battle.
No, but I think they were there for Battle of the Bastards.
Right.
I think they.
Well, I don't think the Tullys made it, but I know the
when
Knights,
Jon-
the Erie, the Knights of the Erie showed up.
Yeah, when Jon decided that he was the
Aarons,
king of the north.
Jon
yeah.
Aaron's.
I guess when
Where's Jon Aaron's son? The little weak.
I thought he got thrown off the cliff.
No, he's still alive.
That little fucking titty sucker.
Yeah, he got sent away. Remember, Littlefinger sent him away so that he could take control of.
That's right. Because he was sucking on titties when he was
Yeah.
12. No, but I think we're alluding to the same point though. You're like, yeah, you can start over, but I don't think the show goes.
I mean, I have no idea where it's going, and
because that leaves hope in the show. There's
Right.
never been hope in this show. Because anytime hope is there, it gets destroyed. I mean, reality. The reality is the show ends in spring. You end it in winter, and the 5th episode, it culminates there. It climaxes there. You have everything there, and then episode 6 is your spring. Whatever the fuck that is.
Well, what is the fallout of this episode? There's fallout. So the fallout.
I have no idea.
The fallout would be like the North gets destroyed now.
If
completely.
the fucking show ended today
And it's like,
or last week, you could end it.
if we're talking Sopranos, it's basically the Soprano family trying to hide from the big New York family, and everyone gets slowly picked off.
But we don't know. We don't know. Because we don't really know who's left. We don't know how much control the dragons have. Are they
Right.
fucked up? Like, where's the other dragon? Did it get blown up into ice? I don't know.
In the preview, he's back. So
The third dragon?
there's 2 dragons. Oh, the
ice dragon.
The ice dragon's done. When
it
the
got
ice
blown up? I
Yeah,
don't remember
when the
seeing
Night King died, everything connected to him died.
that.
Yeah, the dragon was about to do, and he disappeared.
I forgot,
Yeah,
to be honest.
he was gonna kill Jon Snow with
I
his
do
blue
remember.
fire. Yeah,
I do remember.
and then he fucking Thanos.
Okay, so let's get into questions. We'll rapid fire these. I was a bit disappointed. This is from Shrey. I was a bit disappointed to see that none of the major characters died in the episode. We agree. So it kind of fell flat for me. I still hold the Battle of the Bastards higher than the Long Night. Following that, I feel safe. I also feel that these last 2 seasons have been pretty safe.
I've heard. Let me ask you about these battles real quick. Do you think any of these battles are better than the battle for Helm's Deep?
This one, no.
But any of the
Not
Game
really.
of Thrones.
No.
So Helm's Deep and Minas Tirith still.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because and if you really want to get into it, the reason why is because of everything I complain about in Avengers. That's present throughout all 3 of the Lord of the Rings movies. When you have close-up action, you see their facial expressions, you see the enemy, like you see how things react, and so for me, the 100%. The banter is also fucking great. Legolas and like Gimli. Oh, it only counts as 1 when they kill like the big elephant or some shit. Like
Right.
Legolas kills like all these fucking things and kills the elephant, and then Gimli's like, it only counts as 1 or whatever because they've been fucking fighting this. But I mean,
But do you think it's fair to compare them because they're not? There's swords and there's magic and there's shit, but they're not the same kind of story.
I wouldn't compare them.
Right. Okay.
And just because it's not has nothing to do with Peter Jackson was not limited by television production budgets.
Right.
He didn't have to fucking do gimmicks other than shooting at night. because shooting at night does allow you to get away with a lot of CGI things because you don't have to render out things as clearly. They didn't. Peter Jackson wasn't throwing extra fog and shit in there. He wasn't like...
Yeah, that whole blizzard thing fucking bothered me.
He wasn't doing that he wasn't making the fires appear red in the back to give you a sense of like separation between these things.
The blizzard was more of a fucking annoyance than it was anything else for me. Like, it just did... Because it wasn't effective. All it did was distract the dragons.
It rained during Helm's Deep. It did rain during Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
But you can see through fucking rain.
Right.
I'm just saying. So for me,
okay,
comparing them is bullshit. I don't think this was the best battle on the show, and it definitely did not make me feel like this fucking Hardhome, the Battle of the Bastards, like even the Blackwater, like those made me feel like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Stakes are high, but then it took the story in a completely like.
But this
oh shit.
This definitely had all of us tense watching it.
Oh, for sure.
A high level of tension.
But it wasn't because of the battles.
Right.
In my opinion. Everything was close quarters. So it wasn't as grand as all these other things that we've been talking about.
It was not on the same scale.
It wasn't. But I mean, you just think about Hardhome, how much personal fighting was going on with Jon Snow fighting these people, and then just with the giant, like all of these things, like there was way more action. I mean, even the Battle of the Bastards, way more when you had the other Stark get killed for no fucking reason.
And like you said, it was more personal because there was like the stakes involved.
Were personal.
Yeah, it was Jon trying to save his sister from that fucking bat from Ramsay.
Yeah, and which is why I feel like Battle for Winterfell is the climax of the show. Sorry, question.
I don't know though. See, the thing is, you're not invested in the Night King the way you are invested in Ramsay Bolton.
Oh, I love Ramsay. He's one of the characters.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You're more invested in Ramsay. You're more invested in. I
love the Night King too. I think I'm disappointed.
We don't have.
You never have Cersei. You never have Cersei interact with the dead, so she can never fucking.
So she wins already because she knew. She knew.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if what they were saying is true or not. Whatever. She couldn't come face to face with death.
She played her cards right. She's the
playing
best.
the Game of Thrones.
Right. She's winning right.
Your thoughts on the sudden shift in the tonality after season 6? Unfortunately, I don't think we should get into that because we've talked about that plenty.
I think we talked about it last. If you didn't check out last podcast, check out the last podcast.
For sure.
Daniel and I definitely got into it about that.
Winterfell, that's the hashtag. What is wrong with Jon Snow? He did absolutely nothing. I'd rather cry on his death than watch him do nothing.
I mean,
is he there just to fuck his aunt? I hope he takes that bloody throne, but somehow he's still my favorite character.
What did you expect from him in this episode? That's the thing. Like, they lost this battle. Their only chance of winning, and I think we knew that. That's why they put Bran out as bait. They knew their only chance of winning was killing the Night King and destroying everybody, because if not, it was a numbers game. On sheer numbers alone, we see him resurrect your army that you were fighting him with. He just has
your own army.
He had, that's what I meant. Like, he's got an endless number of soldiers on his side. So there really wasn't much for Jon Snow to do. If anything, Daenerys fucked it up when the Dothraki got killed because she was supposed to hold her place and she didn't. She let her emotions get the best of her and took off flying on the dragon. They were supposed to wait and bait. Now, I've read people like questioning the strategy used. Why would you send out the Dothraki first? Which I don't really understand either. When I was watching it, I didn't really think about it that much. I thought it was kind of interesting because you couldn't even see. Why would you go and charge these soldiers when you don't even see what you're attacking? And I think maybe the Melisandre lighting their swords on fire was just emboldened them to run out there. Like, that was supposed to be...
Oh, it was for the gimmick.
Yeah. It looked great. It was awesome, them running into the dark and you seeing all these flames and then they slowly going out.
I think more importantly was the audio for that. Because you hear it.
Right, and them charging, all of a sudden it just gets quiet.
And more quiet. And you hear it just... Like, the audio was... They deserve... If there's an Emmy for the audio for this, they deserve it for this episode. For sure. For sure.
But that's my explanation for Jon Snow. Like, he's really...
What else is there to do?
Exactly.
And every opportunity, he was trying to be a hero at every opportunity he could, and he tried. He went after the Night King in the air on the dragon. Like,
he did.
And he tried to go after him again. And then when the dead came, he got lucky. I mean, the reality is he got lucky.
He's been getting lucky this entire show. That's just kind of...
That's his
thing.
That's his thing.
Yeah.
Okay, more questions.
He died and got brought back to life. Shit.
Why are action scenes not clear during the fight with the dead army? I also feel like we cover that too.
There's just budgetary stuff there, guys.
Yeah,
and
it's
you gotta
a production thing.
Yeah, when you're dealing with that many people, or you want it to seem like that big, you gotta cut corners and making it look real busy.
Let's assume they had $20 million. Let's just assume that's what the budget is per episode, and they probably saved that budget for the first 2 episodes. Those first 2 were 100% filler episodes.
Right.
So this next battle, or this battle, the previous battle and the next one are going to be huge. I don't think you'll have another nighttime battle, though. I think the next one will be during the day.
Yeah.
And I just think, it's a production thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we could really get into like why, with the snow, with the fog, with the like.
There's
the
just cheats to get around stuff, because if you want it, it's also impossible to get how many hundreds of actors fighting and looking perfect while
it's not possible. Impossible. It's expensive.
Yeah.
That's the reality. It's not impossible.
It's improbable.
It's not.
There's a lot of. You'd have to hire a lot of fucking
You'd
stunt
have to
guys.
be Indian.
Yeah.
You'd have to have an Indian production company to do that. No, for reals. Like Kalank. You have to be able one of those producers, those old school producers who say, "Fuck it, we're gonna build a whole city."
Right.
That just doesn't exist in Hollywood, and not for HBO, because HBO isn't at Netflix. They don't have money like that.
This is their only show that's really cost.
Yeah, after this, they're kind of fucked. That's neither here nor there. I think the Night King and Cersei are the 2 main villains here, and the Night King is the scariest of the 2. So I think by killing the main villain in the 3rd episode, my excitement for the next 3 episodes goes down, because the Night King is more powerful than Cersei. What do you think about this? Are you still excited as you were before the 3rd episode?
I mean, once you're invested this many years into a show, like, I just want to see how it ends.
I just want to see how the endgame is. I agree that we've kind of already touched on that.
The whole point of the show is who gets the throne, and the Night King is a distraction more than anything else.
Unfortunately. Rahul Singh asks, how does the Red Woman die? Well, if you watch the show, you know that she wears a necklace, and when she takes the necklace off, she becomes her true age. And I don't really know how she was able to stay without her necklace in earlier seasons for as long as she did.
Yeah.
And then this one, the moment she took it off, she fucking vanished.
Well, she's also...
because it was so cold.
She was also because she took her clothes off too. Yeah.
I don't know why she had to die. That was a big thing, that she came back out of nowhere and then died out of nowhere. Because the best moment in the episode... Sorry to interrupt, but the best moment in the episode, my favorite moment in the episode, was her trying to light the fucking thing. And not because of the suspense, not because of the tension, not because of anything. Because of her performance. She was trying to fucking light this shit because she lit the swords on fire, whatever, right?
It was questioning her faith.
It was.
Yeah.
And for the first time, in my opinion, maybe in her entire fucking life, did she truly believe that this shit was real. That's how I took this. Like, yeah, she can do this.
But she had that moment when she resurrected Jon Snow. She'd never resurrected someone before, and she was like not confident about it either. Remember?
But it flashed.
She also failed with Baratheon, with Stannis Baratheon's daughter.
And then the spirit shit came out of her vagina.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, she was saying these things like expecting it to work out properly, and then when the dead were like right there,
you see the doubt go through her face, and then
she said it. It's almost the best way I can describe it is like this. If you're like,
she started saying it faster and faster.
It's like
nervous.
praying to God.
Yeah.
Like, God help me when this situation. Like, if I was in a terrorist situation or something, and you're praying to God, like, and you to the point where you do it and you say it because you believe it because you're fucking scared because you have nothing else. Like, all you have, like, you want it to be true at that point, and then that's when it. I love that scene, just because her performance was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the answer to that question. Who has green eyes? Probably that girl on Bravos. How can the whole White Walker build-up end in just one episode? Why?
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Why the Night King didn't die from the fire? We don't know.
We don't know about the Night King, but I didn't understand that interaction either. I think it had to do with the earlier interactions. I don't remember.
It was Melisandre. She was talking.
The first and only time they met before, right?
And she said, we'll see each other again. And then she mentions like brown eyes, green eye, red eye, whatever, blue eyes. Blue eyes is, so it's supposed to be a dude who killed her mom, forgetting the fucking dude.
Frey,
yeah. He's brown eyes. according to this theory, the Night King has blue eyes and Cersei has green eyes, so she's green eyes.
So Arya's gonna kill Cersei. That's
Probably not, but I think that's
where they're trying to.
That's what they're leading towards.
That's a misdirect.
Yeah. Big question, Jay Schreier. We have a few more, and then we'll probably wrap this one up. Winter is Coming was hyped for 9 long years, and then it lasted for 3 episodes, 2 of which were reconciliation episodes of sorts. Was this a cop-out? I actually have a good answer for this, but if you have something.
I mean, I disagree, and I mentioned it earlier. I think like the Night King has been looming in the background the whole time, but we already see that the people in the southern part of the kingdom, they don't give a shit about the Night King. They don't give a shit about Winter. The Winter is Coming is specific to Winterfell and Northmen. Like, they're the ones worried about it.
Specifically the Starks.
Yeah, specifically the Starks. The guys on the wall, and even the guys on the wall aren't worried about the Night King. They're worried about they've been worried about the wildlings the whole time. So it's like, it's one of those things where no one was really taking it serious, except for, not even the Starks necessarily. Like, I don't think they were really expecting it.
Until Jon did.
Yeah, Jon was the one that confirmed that this shit is real. Bran becoming the three-eyed raven, which is, at this point, like,
Bran's worthless.
Bran is worthless, and I would be
if they don't
I
do
want to
anything-
see what, yeah, he
If
needs to be
they don't do
redeemed.
anything with Bran in the next 3 episodes,
He's Doctor Strange from Endgame for
reals. But as a character as a whole, from beginning to end, if Bran does nothing, he just becomes a character that was used purely for plot device and nothing else.
Right.
Nothing else.
Which in a way is kind of your Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, it is, and that would be disappointing. But my answer is yeah, because I was talking to my friend last night about this, and he's read all the books. He was actually the one who told me about the Night King not being like as big of a deal, and he said the same thing. He's like, yeah, that's not a. I get like. He's like, yeah, it kind of was annoying that it didn't end in 2, because he said it should have been a 2-part episode because it was too epic to be wrapped up so nicely with the bow on it.
Right.
He said it should, if it was a little bit longer, more spillover, it would have let the audience have time to like let what happened set in.
Right.
And then you can have 1 or 2 more set pieces, and then you have the stab, and then like it becomes, then you kind of like.
I agree. I mean, because let's be honest, the very first scene of Game of Thrones involves White Walkers.
Yeah.
The very first thing you ever see.
Which is why that's why.
Even in the book, like when you read in the book, the first thing you read is.
Which is why we believe Winter is Coming. Which is why it's a big deal to us.
Right.
So yeah. So I don't think it was a cop out. I think it's disappointing, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I've kind of accepted it.
The name of the show is Game of Thrones. Just always remember that.
White Walker problem resolves with the halfway through the season. Are Euron, Cersei, and Golden Company minus elephants, who we've only seen for 2 episodes, worthy enough to be final adversaries of Game of Thrones? Yes, of course. That's why they're there.
They've been talking about the Golden Company. They're mentioned quite often throughout the show.
Being the best and most powerful.
Yeah. But they are mercenaries as well. So remember, keep that in mind. I think that. I didn't mention it earlier, but I remember I said 2 weeks ago that I think we're done with the Greyjoys. I don't think we're going to see. They're not going to be an important part. What's her face?
I do.
You think she's going to come back? I don't know if we see her again, man. We might.
No, you're going to see her again.
In the background. I don't know.
No, you're going to see her again. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt, you're going to see her agagen.
I don't know, man.
Because you're going to see her again because they're going to need it. You have all their army decimated. You're going to need what's left.
She doesn't have an army either, though.
She has a little bit. She has a few ships.
She's got like 3 ships.
That's enough. I mean, that's enough for a distraction.
Or maybe they're all going to Iron Island and that's where they're going to fucking hide out.
And that's how the show ends.
Yeah.
We take this spot. You guys can have that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Question. Speaking of Melisandre, where did she come out of the blue? How did she bypass the Night King's army? No fucking idea.
Well, we don't know if she came from that side of the wall either. We don't know where she's been. She got
surrounded, though.
She was in Winterfell. She got banished from Winterfell. So I highly doubt she went. Because she's known this whole time that this was coming. She knew this is where she was going to die.
That's true. No, I don't.
Yeah. So she's been hanging out somewhere.
It's a stretch, though.
Yeah.
You got to come up with that own backstory yourself, because the show doesn't allude to that. Do you think we'll get a backstory on the Night King, or has that ship sailed? I do think that ship has sailed because I don't think it was. I think everything we've gotten in the show is all the backstory that the writers wanted us to know about these people.
Yeah, if we learn about the Night King, it's going to be on the prequel series.
More than what we've already seen here. Because I think the only way you can really learn about them is by either Bran, and Bran's fucking worthless, so we're not going to get shit from them. And the children of the forest are dead.
Yeah.
They're all dead.
And at this point, there's no reason to even talk about the Night King.
Because he's dead.
He's dead. He's no longer a threat.
I was like hoping secretly that when fucking Arya killed the Night King,
That he didn't die.
That it pulled some like
That killed Bran.
some Avengers shit. No, like some huge plot twist there. Like he knew Bran was doing this shit. And he was like waiting for it.
Right.
Waiting for it, like something, and then like, oh yeah, you fell into my trap. Now here we go. Like fucking, I don't know, but that didn't happen. Also thoughts on Tyrion being Azora Zahat, fucking whatever. You know, the myth, the one that was promised, the myth, like the big.
Yeah, that honestly,
Azor Ahai.
that whole fucking myth thing's like
Not in the show, so I don't think it's relevant.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Where did Bran go when he warged during the battle? He
like
was
Lady
playing
Blackheart is not in the show either.
Stoneheart.
Ladies, whatever Heart.
Yeah.
She's not in the show, and they did that on purpose.
Where did Bran go when he warged during the battle? He's playing Crow Simulator. That's what he's doing.
Well, yeah, he was reconning. He was trying to. I think he warged to try to get the Night King out. The Night King did not come out to plan. They were expecting him to come out and expose himself immediately. He did not. So they had to find a way to get him out. And I think maybe the Crows. And this is once again me speculating. This is not clear whatsoever. But I think they were waiting. He didn't show up when they thought he was going to show up. So they had to improvise.
I agree. Do you think the series has progressively deteriorated once the creators went out of source material?
No. Yes and no. Like we talk about it. Watch last week's episode because we really get into it.
Short answer is yes, but they're doing the best they can.
Yeah.
I feel like.
There was some really awesome shit. There's been some awesome shit they've done without the source material.
Yep.
For sure. Like the Battle of the Bastards.
From the beginning.
Yeah. So but these last 3 seasons that haven't had source material, they've done some pretty awesome shit within those 3 seasons. However, there has been major aspects. I talked of just Dany's storyline altogether. There's definitely something. It's felt like something's been missing for a while now, but the spectacle was so great that
you can look past it.
Yeah, you can look past it, and we still can. You still can.
This is why I'm saying you gotta the way I look at it is they're doing the best they can because they're not, no matter what, they're not George R.R. Martin.
Right.
They're just not. And I think George R.R. Martin doesn't even know the broad strokes of things, which is why, or I think he only knows the broad strokes of things. I don't think he knows the minute details of these things, which is why things are like, personally, I feel like when the books come out, and this is what I was saying to my friend, and he was like, no, Night King's not even a character, because my whole argument was when the books come out, you're going to have things that are more fleshed out, everything's going to feel more satisfying, whatever, potentially.
All you're going to get is like descriptions of throbby, veiny penises.
White Walker dick.
Which is pretty much all you've had in the books in the first place. But
last question from Amit. He emailed this one. He actually emailed other Avengers questions, but we had so many questions. Anyway, where was fucking Gendry and Tormund the whole time? Didn't see them in the episode at all.
Saw them a couple times, but they're just okay.
I hated the episode.
Gendry's not an important character.
He probably will be, though.
He might be the Baratheon.
Going forward, I think.
The Baratheon blood, even though he's a bastard, is going to come into play somewhere.
Because he's going to confront Cersei at some point.
Yeah,
and say, I'm Robert's bastard son.
Right.
Because so she doesn't have a kid anymore, but.
So that would make him the rightful heir. He's there for a reason. He's good, and it wasn't just to forge weapons of dragon glass.
I think he's there for the people of King's Landing.
He might represent the common folk. This might end up in a Greek thing where it turns into a fucking democracy. Who knows? But he's important, but I think for the battle purposes, he wasn't important. Like, we're not emotionally invested in Gendry. Tormund, we're not emotionally invested in Tormund either. He's just a guy that people like. He's a fan favorite, but he's, his whole angle is trying to bang Brienne of Tarth. At this point, that's the only thing. He's comedic.
Well, he's the last wildling, really.
Right.
I mean, there's no other wildlings, are there?
That were part of
the girl.
That were part of the council. No, I don't think so. I think he's the only one left. But
I think that's why he has to survive too. For
Okay.
now. For now.
He
For
could,
now.
but,
like the battle.
But like I said, he's comedic relief at this juncture. So
yeah, he's a good sword too.
Yeah.
He's a reliable, like, oh, he's going to fight some... I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
Quick summary or speculation for next week. Do you have any? I don't.
I don't. And I just really hope that it's not... I hope we don't get any more filler episodes. Like
You might.
We might. You definitely might, but I really hope it's...
After last week, you might. I don't... I mean, I don't think they will because they're all 80-minute episodes from here on out.
I think from now on, like, big stuff's gonna happen. There's gonna be source of tension. It's not gonna be a full battle.
I think it's gonna be slow though. I do think
it'll be a little bit slower, but I don't think it's gonna be. Filler's okay when you're binge watching.
It is.
Filler's not okay when you're waiting a week for every episode.
And this.
Are we gonna get an episode this weekend because it's Cinco de Mayo? Because sometimes when it's like holiday weekends, they don't.
Every week, there's no breaks. Either way, though, this is definitely one of the last times we'll ever do this. I feel like this is a special moment for people, and what I mean by that is, name me another show that's weekly. Walking Dead.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck about Walking Dead like that. Like Game of Thrones. I mean, Breaking Bad. Before that, but I think this is the last
episodic show where people are. Well, it's just everything's the way the platforms are moving.
Yep, Cinco de Mayo comes out.
Okay.
I'm
going to say that I thought we were going to get into it a little more, but you didn't really.
I'm glad I took my time because I was like really pissed. And
I was expecting more of a TLJ reaction.
Because you know what it is. I'm waiting for the story to conclude. This is no longer a matter of. Like, fuck, we got to wait 2 more years to see the conclusion of this.
Yeah.
No, I got to wait 3 more weeks and I'm done. So, like, I can't bitch about something when I don't know how it's going to play into everything yet. Return of the Jedi.
Said the same for The Last Jedi.
I can't say that, no. Because they don't know what the fuck they're doing on episode 9. They didn't. They just fucking did. Like, it retconned everything. It was like, it didn't. That's the problem. It didn't feel like it was in line with what they were setting up. This one... You can argue every point to counter the Night King's shit has some validity to it. Mm. It just does, because this show is unconventional. It doesn't follow the hero structure. It doesn't follow the traditional conventional things that normal fantasy films do or whatever. But we already discussed it's based on Lord of the Rings. So like you got to take that into consideration because how does Lord of the Rings treat its villains? Like it treats the wizards and the talking people like fucking threats, but really the overarching fucking they don't never it's always the silent threat, you don't, that's the whole point. And that's why I think that's why he did it, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So we can have a Sauron face off at the end, but Bran sucks though. Like that one
I'll give you that.
He fucking sucks. Like right now, he's worthless. I don't understand the point of a Raven. Like
I don't understand.
It almost feels like it's better that fucking Bran should have died, so they could have forgot the history of everything, because seems like it was a bunch of bullshit.
The only reason why Ravens exist is because of the threat of the Night King. But now that there's no threat
ever, and there won't be again, because the Children of the Forest are dead.
Right. What's the point?
Unless fucking what's-his-name figures it out somehow, like the fucking mad scientist who resurrected
the mountain.
The mountain. He does some shit. He doesn't know. Like, we just don't know.
He plays with some dark magic and that, like, sparks up.
Brings back the Night King.
But it'd be tough because we have no idea. The only thing we know about the Night King is that the Children of the Forest created him. And they put dragon glass inside of a human. And that turned him into the Night King. That's all we know. Would he want to do that again, and why would he want to do that?
Maybe Bran the Builder. Maybe it is Bran.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
I'm just saying, if they fucking figure out a way to bring back the Night King, that's kind of. I'm not hoping, putting my eggs in that basket. But I'm kind of secretly hoping that there's a fucking
that it ends on
but there's something else. There's something hidden. They truly haven't pulled the rug from underneath us yet.
I mean,
because I think to the masses, the rug got pulled under, but I don't know.
I think we're forgetting about the kingdoms that are not connected to the Westeros. Are they going to play anything? Are the people from Bravos
fucking come back?
Are they going to come?
Kill everybody?
the fucking
The Stone Men.
the Scorpion guy, whatever his name, his family, like whatever's left of them.
They're all dead though.
There's got to be somebody left from that
I
island.
don't think there is. I think that was like one of the like their whole lineage got killed when they took Cersei's nephew or niece or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they killed their nephew or whatever. Maybe it was the Embers. I think that was the last of their like. I think that's why it was such a big deal.
Did they kill? They didn't kill the mom though. They just killed her daughters and let her live.
Yeah, well, she's gone through menopause. Her line's over. It's over.
But she was also not royal. Like royal was the guy.
But I think the line is dead.
That's a possibility.
I don't think they're coming back. I'd be more surprised to see any of those people come back than I would be to see the Greyjoy come back.
Would you be shocked if some new family that's never been talked about, just like some strangers from another land, come out of nowhere?
That's never been talked about? Yes, it'd be annoying. A family that's been mentioned a few times here and there that we haven't seen yet that comes out? Yeah. But I think that's the Golden Company. I'm just saying.
You guys are going to watch. We're going to watch. We're going to finish it out. So make sure to tune in next week after we watch episode 4 and see what the fallout from the.
It won't be as big as this episode.
Battle of Winterfell.
Or I could be wrong. This could be the Red Wedding episode that I allegedly was suspecting.
I think something's going to happen.
Bro, we've said that every week. We think that every week, and this fucking show this week gave us something. Let's put it that way.
You didn't know. Okay, last week when we talked, did you think Arya was going to be the one to kill the Night King? So there. I mean, that was shocking in itself. Of all the people who are going to take out the Night King, even though it was kind of alluded to in earlier seasons.
No one knew that. No one knew. No one knew.
No.
And it wasn't set up right. We've already gone over that though. Yeah. She fucking jumped out of a tree or something. I'm just saying.
R.I.P. Theon. R.I.P. Little Lyanna.
And fucking Bran just stood there at the tree.
I don't think the three-eyed raven can do anything. All he does.
Well, he's also disabled.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's not hold. You know what?
He is.
Okay.
He literally
can't.
can't.
Able-bodied doesn't mean he can't do other things in life. He can move his arms.
He can, but he chooses not to.
He can control animals.
He chooses. He could also speak in normal fucking languages, and he just speaks in these weird fucking riddles and shit.
Well, he's in a trance, man.
I don't understand. Like, it's kind of like Doctor Strange, man. If you know shit's gonna happen the way it's gonna happen because you can foresee everything.
He's just so obsessed
then why not
with
just
gaining
fucking
knowledge. I honestly, Bran sucks, but I'm still upset with Samwell Tarly because
he bitched out and cried the whole time.
Yeah. Like after he showed some bravery and he got a chance to stay, he was a liability on the battlefield.
Duh. Anyone that fat is a liability anywhere.
Damn you. All right.
I'm just saying.
We don't fat shame on this show.
We absolutely do. And even more so if you live during that time. You don't want to be fat during that time. You actually have to walk and run and things.
Hey man, it's white privilege, bro. He's a rich kid.
It is.
So. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for us. Thanks for watching. You know the drill. Smash that like button, leave comments, let us know what you think. Please interact with us. We do this for you. And we'll see you next time.